So, and the time that the ball actually rotates, you will just see this matter. This is, for example, seat again. Okay. Let me erase this one. It's the seat of my ball valve. And as you can see, now we have the bore here. It means that, 90%, for example, counterclockwise or clockwise, this one rotates, and now you can just see that. In this case, as you can see, this one is, for example, P of the fluid. Here, the pressure is 0 because this one has been totally closed. As you can see, there's a kind of space here. This space includes some fluid here as well. This place, the empty space that just prepares or creates the time that the valve closed would be known as cavity. So this space, let me just write it with another color here, this place is cavity. So do not forget that, because as you can see, now just imagine this ball valve is rotating. Can you just see that? Okay, so the time that it rotates, you need to actually just imagine it in your mind. It starts to close. So we still have some fluids in this part too. Actually, the ball valve doesn't let the item just actually passes. It means that it's going to be totally closed, the line, but for sure some parts of fluid, maybe some drops, or just how can I say that, a small amount of the fluid is going to be placed in this part. So this space is going to be cavity. Having some cavity in this regard can have a lot of dangers or may cause some types of difficulties. For example, as you can see, this fluid which has been trapped here in the cavity has its own pressure, and maybe after that, due to having this pressure, this one wants and inclines to just release from another side to downstream too. The time that we are talking about closing the valve, closing the line or isolating the line, it means that for sure the downstream case must have pressure equal to 0. It means that no drops, no leakage is acceptable here. But as I told you before, the time that the valve starts to close, we have some fluid here with some pressure. So how we can just solve these problems? Do not worry, later I will tell you something about double block and bleed valve and single block and bleed valve, and with the help of some more definitions, you will understand how we can conquer this problem and how we can actually let this item to just isolate the valve same as before without any other types of difficulties. And about the other things, I can just tell you that if the fluid that you have inside of the valve is a little bit erosive or things like that, maybe some parts of device is going to be damaged or is going to be eroded too, because it's going to be, how can I say that, rotated. And after that, maybe some layers of the ball valves, due to keeping or holding some fluid inside, could damage or things like that. So do not forget that for this case, we must change the shape of the ball valve to some other types of shell. For example, we have the quadrant shape of the ball valves. I want to tell you that it's not totally a sphere shape. For sure, some parts of it are going to be a little bit changed, and about this matter, I will tell you something and I will show you something later, and I'm totally sure in this regard, you will understand what these ball valves principles or function, and as I mentioned that before, they decrease the possible erosion inside of these valves. Please keep watching up until the time we reach to that part.